Yo, what is up, everybody? We are so early, okay? It is so early. It's 8 in the morning, and today we have some new updates on the brand new update this weekend for the fairy event. Of course, if you guys are brand new to my channel, hi, I do grow garden content, and we wamba buy plants, and you should totally subscribe because I don't know what I'm doing right now. And make sure you guys like the video, as it does help me come out with more content like this for you guys, and let's go ahead and get into the details. Okay, so it's gonna be a little hard to actually show you guys any visuals of like what's brand new into the game. However, I will still share the pictures with you. We will go over all of the stuff for this event. This one's extremely different from what we've been so far playing within the game right now. Obviously, we have the beanstalk. You bring stuff to Jack over here. He makes beanstalk come out, and then obviously 5 thumb, right? But for the fairy event, we obviously are going to be getting new currency. We have a garden coin shop, which obviously has a shop inside of it for upgrades, slots. There's a lot of stuff here in this little short, guys. So Epter last time predicted everything that was going to be within the beanstalk event. Granted, all of the stuff that we have for crafting and everything, that changes for the recipe and stuff, but everything else was correct. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea where these come from, so I do not know. All I know is that there are placeholders for all of these things, and based on what I'm looking at under the watermark of Epter, it says cosmetic inventory capacity, plant inventory capacity, so we'll be able to turn in items such as the currency to get more inventory space, which is, you know, something I obviously need right now very desperately, and I know sometimes you guys do too. But what makes this event a little interesting is that you can rebirth during this event. That's like rebirthing this beanstalk over and over and over again. But it's actually really interesting because not only does it look like it costs shekels to rebirth, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at the requirements for the shekels. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be accurate because that is a very long numerical amount, so we're gonna ignore how much it costs. Not only do we have all of the things when it comes to the rebirth, pet inventory capacity, and your garden space, stuff like that, we have something called a garden coin, a save slot update, egg capacity upgrade. Now, the pet save slot upgrade, I said pet, I'm assuming this has to do with like your garden here itself, right? So you guys already know we have save slots and stuff. The UI allows you to, looks like, have 2 more within here. And this is without seeing the UI have like the little scroll wheel thing over here. So I'm wondering how many save slots that we can go ahead and actually get. Dude, this is actually really big. We're gonna end up getting more than just 2 save slots, which is actually really nice considering that we always have to go through different phases during our gardens when we're testing a lot of these pets and plants and stuff. So this is really good. But it looks like you need to create a garden coin before you do so, and you need 3 of those coins in order to actually create a save slot upgrade. Now, I'm not sure what you guys need exactly, but I could only assume that it might be some items from the new event. And it looks like for the garden shop as well, for the inventory, for the cosmetics, the pets, stuff like that, it also requires these new little garden coins. Okay, now here is the other interesting part, okay? There are 3 different glimmering things that you can go ahead and submit. We're looking at the actual map itself for the event. There are 3 sections. You could submit some items and then you can go ahead and make a wish. Make a wish, I have no idea what this could be, but it looks like once you submit the required items, you could complete something, and it's called Fairy Favors. Then afterwards, you can go ahead and choose within 3 different items. So think of it as the rat connoisseur from the cooking event. Now, that one was really interesting. Granted, obviously the event itself, the mechanics, I'm not sure how it's really going to work, but considering that we're going to have to choose between 3 items, it's going to be a little interesting. Obviously, it seems like maybe, okay, hypothetically thinking, right? Let's think. We could submit 3 items to the fairies, but they have to be glimmering, right? At least that's what it says on the UI. We have to submit 3 glimmering items. Does it matter how big they are? Then, the bigger the plant is, the better rewards you get out of it. Kind of like the same way that the cooking event works with the rat connoisseur. The bigger the dish, more mutations, stuff like that. I wonder if that all takes in place. And then on top of it, you can also upgrade the quality of items that you get from the event itself. And it looks like based on the UI, it looks like it's shekel based. Though again, that might all change at the very end of the day. None of these are going to be final. So it looks like during the event, you can get a glimmering mutation. Based on what Epter submitted within his short, he ended up actually getting a glimmering mutation. So the event itself is going to be really, really interesting when it comes to most of this stuff. So let's go over the other possibilities and how you guys should prepare for this event. Because again, a lot of these events do require certain things, certain pets to make things a little bit easier for you guys. And let's go ahead and go over that. So I hope you guys took advantage of last week's admin abuse event. Now, I only say this because of the multiplier. Should we need anything that actually has and requires a ton of mutations, hypothetically speaking, right? This lemon lion was actually super duper duper good. It gives you a 100 times multiplier every 5 minutes. I'm not even joking. It's so good. I do have a video of where I just pretty much go over this pet in my previous video that I uploaded yesterday. I basically tested out this pet with other brain rot pets on this entire farm here, and we're hoping that they don't nerf this pet here, because every 5 minutes it roars and applies a 100 times multiplier on one random little plant, but we're gonna ignore that. It's only one plant every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes is super duper good. Not only that, but it also gives you experience points on some pets as well. Granted, that one might not be as important, but the brain rot mutation, again, gives you 100 times the multiplier. Since we are going to be getting a brand new event, obviously this is one of the pets that are probably one of my favorites right now particularly, but anything that gives you any type of crop boost to grow faster, whether that be the Triceratops, the Flamingo, the Mooncat, whatever you guys want to get that you can afford or attempt to get, that's probably what you guys want to focus on. And I only say that just because of the fact that we are going to get a new event. These are things that everybody should just kind of have already in their inventory. I know some of them might be really, really expensive, but hey. Okay, so because it is Thursday right now, we obviously have all day today and all day tomorrow to kind of figure out what we're doing with this entire event. Clearly, we're still able to take advantage of everything that we still have going on here, but you have a 2-day period to just kind of accumulate a ton of shekels at this very moment. And I'll be honest, the next event feels like it might require some shekels. So if you have any unwanted pets that you don't really tend to care about right now, it might be a good idea to go ahead and just trade those off for shekels to kind of save keep for this Saturday's update. Or you could go ahead and choose to still go through the beanstalk and obviously buy any of the things from the shop there still by refreshing the shop and just buying a ton of things. I have yet to still get a princess thorn, so of course I'm still gonna go through the process until I do end up getting one. And if I don't, that's okay, because there's the next event that might have the next best item. The seed shop, clearly if you guys do have the ability to go ahead and AFK shop the little shop itself, do that. Same thing goes with the gear shop as well. Buy everything that you can, just in case. And I'm doing this same thing with the eggs, because you just never know when you do need certain eggs. Like, hypothetically, what if you need, like, common eggs or uncommon eggs? I know with the requirements for the leaks that I showed you guys, it's kind of hard to see what we're able to use and what we're not able to use during this time, but I'm a hoarder. I like to make sure that I have everything in the game at hand, because you just never know. And it doesn't hurt at the very end of the day. So going back to the rewards that you end up getting during this event, it looks like you could get coins from this, fairy points, a glittering radar, a fairy targeter. Now, I'm not sure if the fairy points thing is something that's valid in here as a reward, just because that sounds like it's a currency more than anything else. I might be wrong on that. But what interests me the most is the rebirth requirements here. It says, are you sure you want to rebirth? You will lose all your shekels. Now, I went back to go reread this, and the shekels part, what does this mean exactly? It shows you the UI, and there's no slash indication between like how many shekels you're gonna lose versus the ones that you're gonna keep, right? But it does tell you, and it indicates on the screenshot, you will lose all your shekels. Now, I don't know what this means and what this is going to relate to in the event, whether this is something separated or not. It says in red, all your shekels. shekels. So that means all the shekels that I have at the very bottom of my left screen, that would be all gone. For what though? I'm not sure what this means, but that's a lot. That's a lot to take in, and that's a lot of consideration on my part. This obviously might mean that I need to transfer my shekels over to maybe perhaps an alt account to go ahead and see what this does on Saturday. But seeing all shekels, I don't know about that. That's a lot. But right now, I think the quality for the fairy upgrades is something really nice, just because that we're able to go ahead and just upgrade the entire thing. And then hopefully when we do submit some fairy point stuff, then obviously we could get better rewards versus just kind of taking chance on like submitting good things, which would kind of contradict the first thing that I mentioned earlier. What if you needed better plants with better things to get better rewards, right? You would have to rely on the RNG from the fairy upgrades to go ahead and kick in for you to get better rewards. Now it looks like on this other screenshot, it says fairy event, 31 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm assuming based on this little mutation event, this is what's going to cause everything to turn into glittering, whatever you guys want to call it, glittering, glitter, fairy. It's gonna turn things into fairy dust pretty much for you guys. I'm just gonna call it fairy dust. And that's where that fruit in your garden mutated to glimmering comes from within this screenshot. Then you would take that over to the fairy and perhaps you would get things that way. Fairy favors, it looks like it's kind of like almost what we have right now with the giant. There is a 5-meter indicator, so the more that you submit, the more favors that you do, the more that you might be able to unlock for certain things. Who knows? But I don't know, guys. I'm looking right back at the rebirth system, and that one's really big. I keep going back to it. I don't want to lose all my shekels, okay? Are you sure you want to rebirth? You will lose all your shekels rebirth requirements. Now, there is something inside of the UI where it looks like it's a bone blossom, but I'm not sure if that's a reward that you get or if that's something that you submit or something. All I know is that this update is going to bring in some interesting questions because I'm questioning what this is. And you guys can go ahead and leave your comment down below on what you guys think this rebirth system is for. This is all we have regarding information for the next update. So again, all of this is still curious to me because what if we do have to submit something and then on top of it to rebirth, we lose all our shekels. But yeah, that's all the information that we have for this Saturday. Personally, I cannot wait because I am super duper curious about this shekel thing. And as always, if you're brand new, make sure you guys hit subscribe. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys like the video as it does help me come out with more content like this for you guys. And I will see you all later. Okay, bye.